So I'm attaching this video to the Gumball video mainly to show some of the things like that I find wrong with Wikipedia, or at least one thing for sure that I can point out is that they do have a bias. And so anytime that they come around asking for money, saying they're broke, don't give them shit, because they get funded by the right people to make sure that certain definitions are written a certain way within Wikipedia. For example, within Wikipedia, it states that NumbersUSA was created in '97 by anti-immigration activist and white nationalist John Tanton. Now, they paint him in the exact same way that the Southern Poverty Law Center paints them. So, despite the fact that Tanton has said some slightly racy things, I wouldn't say that there were anything extreme. Really, he's more concerned about immigration for the sake of not changing the direction of the country, I would say, more than anything. And that Roy Beck, who worked for him at the time, is now running NumbersUSA. So anyway, that's how they sort of put it. So come down to the criticism of this group through the Southern Poverty Law Center. Describes NumbersUSA used a network of anti-immigration organizations created by Tanton. So this is the same language that's used by Wikipedia to describe NumbersUSA. So to me, that's definitely like a bias between, Wikipedia is supposed to be kind of a unbiased information outlet, and it doesn't really completely function like that. Okay, so now the Southern Poverty Law Center has done this type of thing before, and they don't get away with it. Like, NumbersUSA is still running. They never had any trouble over, the bicker back and forth between these two groups. But when you go to the criticism, where is it again? There we go. So in October 2014, the SPLC added Ben Carson, of all people. If you don't know who he is, he's a Republican, also a neurosurgeon, really smart man, but he gets attacked by the left because he's not their brand of black, apparently. So anyway, added to its extremist list, citing his association with groups it considers extreme and his linking of gays with pedophiles. Following criticism, the SPLC concluded its profile of Carson did not meet its standards, removed his listing, and apologized to him February 2015. Lucky they didn't have to pay any money for that, because they did have to pay for this little mess up of theirs where they overextend their reach because of their agenda. So in October 2016, the SPLC published its Field Guide to Anti-Muslim Extremists, which listed the British activist Mahid Nawaz as a non-profit group, and a non-profit group he founded, the Quilliam Foundation. Now, Mahid Nawaz funded a group that is its goal is to seek out and counter extremist Islamic groups within countries that they don't originate from, essentially. And so they attacked him, of all people, someone who's going against extremists, and it didn't end up going well for them at any rate. They ended up having to pay almost, $3.5 million almost in Nawaz for a settlement that they had to pay because of it. So they step out of line, they step over the line. They did again here too, even including haranguing titles on Max Blumenthal and other journalists, where they complained that the article they wrote about them falsely portrayed them as white supremacists, fascists, anti-Semites, and engaging in a conspiracy with the Putin regime to promote such views. So again, they step way far out of line. They're a political group with lawyers that have a political agenda. Now, sometimes they do good. I'm not going to say that they're bad on all fronts. Occasionally, nothing can ever be completely pure of one thing or the other. And so sometimes they do good, but sometimes they do bad. And actually, another recent one, although I couldn't find how far this has gone, but Gavin McInnes, who is the founder of the Proud Boys, which started as kind of a joke fraternity, and now it's become more politicized, which was going to happen, of course, as everything is politicized nowadays anyway. Suing them for their designation of the Proud Boys as a hate group. This is a lie. The Proud Boys are not a hate group. I mean, if you're liberal and watching this right now, I'm telling you they are not a hate group. It's more like what kind of reminded me of me being as a teenager growing up, is that you had a lot of people who might have thought thought certain things about you by the way you carried yourself. But the reality is you're just working class and you want to be proud of your country and your nationality. And for me, my nationality is Canadian, so it's actually kind of a liberal nationality that I adhere to. Um, I'm a little more centrist than I used to be, I think, but nonetheless, you know, that's about all the Proud Boys really are. They don't go around actively attacking people. They don't want to harm people for the most part anyway. I mean, obviously sometimes they do. They're looking for a fight against groups like Antifa and shit. But to call them like a far-right hate group is ridiculous. So hopefully he wins this because it's not fair to go around and label these people something that they aren't. But that's what the SPLC wants to do. And I mean, I can't find anything right off the hop, but I have a suspicion that the people who started this, yes, they have good intents for certain things, but they look at other things as being destructive and evil that aren't and want to make enemies out of them, possibly for their own agenda. So anyway, I'm adding this into the end of that video as the link that you followed to get here in the first place, because we'll also go and we'll have a quick look here too at like the statements by NumbersUSA about immigrant bashing. Nothing about this website should be construed as advocating hostile actions or feelings towards immigrants and other foreign people in this country. And this whole page is a legal statement, roughly speaking, to dispel the claim that its views on immigration are somehow racist. And all that they ultimately seek to do is reduce immigration and make more sense with it, you know, because that's probably the best that they can do really anyway. So they are a little bit liberal. They're not against it completely, and they aren't against even cultural groups that one might consider to be questionable. So at any rate, that's who they are. I've got the link in the description to the NumbersUSA if you wanted to come and have a look at it. There's actually quite a bit of information in here that they go over for what they think makes sense for how immigration should work and some of the things that they want to stop that are bad and harming the country with the immigration policies that are currently enacted. So there we go. That's that. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.